Today, I'm back with another mega haul for you all. This is actually my first Dollar Tree haul of Blu-ray, so I got a little stack of Blu-rays here I'm going to go through, so let's get right into it, because actually I found some pretty good finds there at Dollar Tree. I was surprised. So let's get right into it. So we have Monster Party. So I never heard anything about this movie before, but I looked at it a little bit closer and it says from the producer of Sinister. And I remember Sinister being a pretty decent horror movie, so I'm like, you know what, maybe this isn't so bad, and it's a Blu-ray. Now, I haven't heard of any of the cast members before, so that's probably not a good sign there, but I looked at the description on the back and it says three small-time thieves specializing in home burglary pose as caterers for a fancy dinner party at the Malibu mansion of a extravagantly wealthy Dawson family. But their plan for the perfect heist goes horribly wrong when they discover that the Dawsons and their guests that they actually a support group of recovering serial killers. So I'm like, oh my goodness, this is definitely like a horror style movie, a little bit of Home Alone in there with the thief element breaking in. And so when one of the addicts can't resist the urge to attack, that this simple cash grab becomes an all-out battle for survival where no one is safe. It's kind of funny, like simple cash grab. Like, are they talking about the movie itself? Like, oh, this will catch people's attention. The movie itself is a cash grab, maybe so. But it kind of intrigued me. I'm a big horror fan, so I'm like, yeah, it's probably, a low level, low budget horror movie, but maybe there's some decent things in it. The premise at least intrigued me. So this is Monster Party anyway, that I found at Dollar Tree. So for a buck 25, why not? I'll give it a try. Next we have Plus One. Yes, it looks like it's a romantic comedy, but it came with a slipcover. Wow, a slipcover at Dollar Tree? Yeah, I didn't know they had slipcovers there either. And actually, the slipcover was in pretty good condition. So I'm like, all right, let's check this out. And you got Jack Quaid in here. And I'm like, you know what? His face looks familiar. So I'm sure I've seen him in other movies before. But I looked at the back and I'm like, okay, you know what? This sounds like a little decent rom-com. So longtime friends Alice and Ben find themselves in that inevitable year that all late 20-somethings experience, in which seemingly every person they know gets married and agree to be one another's plus ones. As they power through an endless parade of insufferable weddings, right? And then it gives all the acting talent there. Plus One is a sharp, raunchy, and altogether winning film. So that kind of intrigued me. I'm like, raunchy comedy? Okay, that kind of sounds, fun. I like raunchy comedies like Porky's, American Pie, Wedding Crashers. So I'm sure this movie is not on that level, but I'm like, hey, you know what? For a buck 25, I'll give this one a try. And I just got married, so I'm like, hey, you know what? We'll add it to the wedding marathon collection. So why not? And plus, Blu-ray with the slipcover, I could not resist on this one. So that's why I picked up Plus One. All right, next is actually a movie I've heard of before. The other two movies I never heard of. This one I've heard of before, Arizona. Now, I've never seen this movie, but you got Danny McBride in here. And Danny McBride, he's done a bunch of different performances before. Also, I think he's a writer, if I'm not mistaken. I think he helped write the Halloween movies, right? The new ones. If I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong on that, but I think so. But I think I heard decent things about Arizona before. Apparently, it's like a dark comedy. But let's take a look at the back. Yeah, a violent dark comedy done right. And so Casey is a real estate agent and single mom struggling to keep it all together during the housing crisis of 2009. So that initially interested me because I'm always kind of interested in like that financial crisis and how it impacted everybody. Disastrous time, of course. Her problems go from bad to worse when disgruntled client Sunny violently confronts Casey's boss and then kidnaps Casey, making one outrageously bad and bloody decision after another. Things completely spiral out of control in this explosive action comedy. So, mixing some action in there. I like that as well. Also starring Luke Wilson, Caitlin Olsen. Is that related to the Olsens? Maybe. David Allen Greer and Elizabeth Giles, if I'm pronouncing all those names correctly. So, you know what? I heard decent things about this one before, so I wanted to check it out. I've been getting into more dark comedies lately, so why not add this one to the collection? Plus, you get a slipcover. Now, there is a big giant slash on this slipcover, so yeah, that's pretty bad. But once again, it's $1.25, so why not? Blu-ray for that price? I'll check it out, at least just to see the movie. I mean, the disc is worth that alone. It has to be, so why not? Give that one a try. Next one, we have Young Adult. Now, at first, I wasn't going to pick this one up, but I looked a little bit more closely. I'm like, Charlize Theron. Okay, that's a good actress. She's been in some good stuff before. And then just these quotes here. Ferociously refreshing. Comic force of nature. I'm like, okay, all right. You know what? This is kind of intriguing. And then that little stamp there at the bottom, or I guess seal you would say, directed by Jason Reitman. I'm like, Reitman, I know that name. Isn't that somebody who directed Ghostbusters? And so I'm like, Jason Reitman. I'm like, wait, is that the father or is that the son? I'm not too sure. It might be the son. I'm sorry, I'm just getting those first names lost in my mind here. But I'm like, Reitman. Reitman's a well-known directing name for sure, whether it was the father or the son. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's not all bad, this movie. I got to check it out. I've never heard of this one before, Young Adult. And so I also looked at the back as well. And so it says, the movie is marvelous. Teen lit writer and one-time prom queen Marva Scary returns home determined to recapture her fading glory by winning back her married high school sweetheart. So it sounds like a rom-com here, but her unlikely plan sends Mavis life spiraling further out of control until she forms an unlikely bond with another old classmate who forces her to face adulthood's harsh reality. So kind of like a coming of age story, I guess you could say, but maybe with an a young adult, I guess you would say. Critics rave this darkly hilarious film from a writer, Diablo Cody, an Academy Award nominated director, Jason Reitman, is brilliant and brave. So, you know what? I'm like, this kind of gets me curious, and I see some other acting talent in there that I recognized before. So I'm like, you know what? Once again, $1.25. Why not test it out? So normally I don't collect a whole lot of rom-coms. I had recently for, getting prepared for the wedding, for some date nights with my wife. But why not add another rom-com to the collection? Maybe it turns out to be great. Who knows? We'll see. But once again, can't go wrong with the price. Next one, this one I actually really am interested in checking out. This is Hardcore Henry. I've never seen this one before. I believe Hardcore Henry is played by Bob Odenkirk, if I'm remembering. He was the one in Nobody, and I remember seeing the trailers for this movie, but I never saw it in theaters or anything like that. It looked just kind of like a fun action adventure kind of ride, where it's like all first person, I guess kind of like a video game. So it kind of intrigued me, that premise. So I'm like, you know what? Now, $1.25, I'll try it. Maybe it'll be my jam, maybe it won't be, but hey, you get Blu-ray and you get a digital code. We'll see if the digital code is expired. Maybe it is. Maybe it still works. Who knows? But you get the Blu-ray anyway. So Hardcore Henry, definitely wanted to check this one out. And I'm hoping it says theater quality sound. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, this just kind of intrigued me right away. So I'm like, you know what? Hardcore Henry, let's give this one a try. All right, next we got Shaft. Yes, the newer version of Shaft. I just picked up the classic Criterion edition of Shaft, and so that one made me want to go back and actually check this newer one again. I remember seeing this newer one. I kind of forgot about it though, but Samuel L. Jackson's great. You got other good talent in there, and I think the classic Shaft is one of the actors in there as well. If I'm remembering correctly off of the special features on the other Shaft movie, I think it was saying that that Samuel L. Jackson wanted that original Shaft actor back in this movie in some capacity, right? That this was now a different Shaft. So yeah, I want to go back now that I've seen the classic one, check this one again, see how this one compares, and yeah, maybe it's just a fun time, a fun action time. So once again, I don't remember a whole lot about this one, but I did see it. I for sure did see it. I think I remember some good action in there. So yeah, and I think there's some comedy in there as well, so like comedy action. So we'll see how this one plays out again on another viewing. But yeah, I'm happy to have Shaft in the collection for $1.25. Why not? How can we go wrong? once again with these prices. Next one I was really interested in seeing again, actually, finally getting it on physical. I needed this one on physical. We got Friday Night Lights. I mean, this is a great football movie, you know, great sports inspirational story. You get Billy Bob Thornton in here. So yeah, definitely some good talent involved with this one. And so this is a really, really good movie. And to find it on Blu-ray at a Dollar Tree, I mean, all day I gotta pick this up. So once again, hopefully there's nothing wrong with any of these discs here. I know I've gone to Dollar Trees before and sometimes the discs are kind of messed up, doesn't work as well, but hopefully it works okay, because I actually really do like Friday Night Lights from what I remember, but I definitely want to watch it again. I'm trying to build up my sports movie collections here, so why not add this one to the collection once again for that very cheap $1.25 price. All right, next, for my horror fans out there, we got The Boy. Now, I never heard of this one before, but apparently I get the Blu-ray and digital. We'll see if the digital ends up working once again. But it just looks super creepy. I think it's like a doll movie, like a Chucky movie. Let's look at the description, actually, if I was reading it correctly. The Boy is frightening thrill ride directed by William Brent Belt. Not sure who that is. Starring Lauren Cohen. Not sure who that is. Greta is a young American woman who takes a job as a nanny in a remote English village. She soon discovers that the family's 8-year-old is a life-size doll that they care for just like a real boy. Super creepy. Okay, as a way to cope with the death of their son 20 years prior after violating a list of strict rules, a series of disturbing and inexplicable events bring Greta's worst nightmare to life, leading her to believe that the doll is actually alive. Yeah, so totally a Chucky ripoff movie. But hey, even if a movie is a ripoff of another horror franchise, it can still turn out great. Like Friday the 13th ripping off Halloween. Turned out great. So maybe this will be great. Probably not. Hopefully it's still like a little decent slasher horror film. So yeah, I'm going to give this one a try here. This, once again, is The Boy. But I mean, these were all my movies I picked up in my first actual Dollar Tree haul. That's actually, you know, a stack of Dollar Tree Blu-rays here. So I'm excited to check all these out. Once again, hopefully they work out great. But I think these are some good gems here. I mean, you can find some decent things at Dollar Tree. So don't be skipping out on your Dollar Trees. Actually look there for some good finds. But let me know in the comments below, what have been some of the recent titles you have gotten for really cheap, whether it's at a Dollar Tree, a thrift store, a pawn shop, whatever it might be. What have been those hidden gems out there for us physical media collectors that you can say, hey, wow, this was an awesome pickup and I got it for super cheap. Let's have those movie discussions down below. And if you're just discovering the channel for the very first time and you love collecting physical media and being part of this amazing mega fan community, make sure you subscribe right now to stay entertained and up to date on all the latest physical media topics.
Well, we're waiting.
And if you like this physical media topic video, click another video to see more. Also, like the video, and this is Mega Mike the Movie Man reminding you to make every day a movie day.